You know, politicians, we're used to them lying, but they're usually a little bit slick about it, all right? They kind of put a little spin on it and a smile, and sometimes you wonder, are they really telling the truth? Did they just lie? Nah. With Joe Biden, it is so obvious. These lies, bold-faced lies. It started on Inauguration Day. You know, I knew he was lying to us during the campaign, but Inauguration Day is a big deal. Nope, he lied then, and he broke almost every single promise he made.
My whole soul is in this, bringing America together, uniting our people, uniting our nation. And I ask every American to join me in this cause.
You heard that. Whole soul is in it. His whole soul is in uniting us. Well, you've heard by now about the Georgia law. Controversial. I think there can be disagreement about this, but this is what Joe is saying now.
The Republican voters I know find this despicable. Republican voters.
Hey, what about, didn't he say he was going to improve the atmosphere or something like that?
We can see each other not as adversaries, but as neighbors. We can treat each other with dignity and respect. We can join forces, stop the shouting, and lower the temperature.
Sounds good, right? Back to this Georgia law thing, which isn't bad. This is reasonable stuff. And if you disagree, you disagree. But what does Joe Biden say about those who disagree?
It's sick. It's sick. Deciding in some states that you cannot bring water to people standing in line, waiting to vote.
Now, that's not true. I'll get to that in a moment. But, wow, it's sick. Is this dialing down the temperature? How about making stuff up?
And we must reject the culture in which facts themselves are manipulated and even manufactured.
Facts themselves are manipulated or manufactured. Joe speaks from experience.
What law school did you attend, and where did you place in that class? And the other question is, could you quickly, I think
I probably have a much higher IQ than you do, I suspect. I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. In the first year in law school, I decided I didn't want to be in law school and ended up in the bottom two-thirds of my class, and then decided I wanted to stay, went back to law school, and in fact ended up in the top half of my class. I won the international moot court competition. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only need 123 credits, and I'd be delighted to sit down and compare my IQ to yours if you'd like, Frank.
Nothing he just said there was true. This is back in '87 when we first got to know Joe Biden, when he first ran for president, huh? Talk about making stuff up. Let's give Joe one more chance from the inauguration.
Before God and all of you, I give you my word. I will always level with you.
Always level with us. So, again, I'll give you one more try. This Georgia law, these new guidelines on voting. How does Joe describe it?
Again, the new Georgia election law?
It's an atrocity. The idea, if you want any indication that it has nothing to do with fairness, nothing to do with decency, they passed a law saying you can't provide water for people standing in line while they're waiting to vote. You don't need anything else to know that this is nothing but punitive, designed to keep people from voting.
And if that's not true, Joe, I guess we don't need anything else to show that you are a downright liar and or incompetent. So let's go to section 33, shall we? And take a look at the section. This makes it quite clear. Yes, it's legal speak, but this code shall not be construed to prohibit a poll officer from distributing materials as required by law, or from making available self-service water from an unattended receptacle to an elector waiting in line, i.e., there's water available to the voters who are waiting in line. You just can't get bottles of water from some campaign. It's a prohibition against electioneering, and they've been around for a long time, and it's totally, totally fair. But Joe Biden, the great unifier, is now tearing us apart with this silly, stupid decision by Major League Baseball to move the All-Star game.
Mr. President, what do you think about the possibility that baseball decides to move their All-Star game out of Atlanta because of this political issue?
I think today's professional athletes are acting incredibly responsibly. I would strongly support them doing that.
With all of his soul, he promised to unite us, to work to unite us. The All-Star game, scheduled for July in Atlanta, right? The All-Star game. There it is, American flag. It's just a great thing. You're going to drag baseball into this. Yes, he is.
Let's begin to listen to one another again. Hear one another. See one another. Show respect to one another. Politics doesn't have to be a raging fire, destroying everything in its path. Every disagreement doesn't have to be a cause for total war.
Moving the All-Star game, I don't think has ever been done for political reasons before, and that's what they're doing. This is insane. There's a little bit more to it, though, than Major League Baseball trying to appear woke. Now, they are, but there's more to it than that. Here's a Major League Baseball commissioner. His name is Manfred.
I'm here to announce that Major League Baseball has awarded the 2021 All-Star Game to the Atlanta Braves and the city of Atlanta.
That was 2 years ago. That's how far in advance they plan these things. The commissioner of baseball, everybody's happy, but it's been undone in a matter of days. And this commissioner should know better. He went to Harvard Law School, so he can read the law like I did and see that it's not what the woke left is talking about. But here's the deal. He doesn't just want to appear woke. He's got business. Major League Baseball has a lot of business before Congress. They spent more than $1 million lobbying Congress last year on a whole host of issues, from economic development to taxes. It's far more complicated than just baseball. Kind of weird, though, right? Major League Baseball, you know, they're cozy with Cuba, where they haven't had an election, I think, in the history of Cuba. And there's Barack Obama doing the wave at a baseball game in Cuba with Raul Castro, known to torture political opponents in his career, right? And again, no election since he got there. How about that? Why is baseball doing it? Not just to appear woke, but also because of those issues. And Congress can make the life of Major League Baseball commissioner and baseball players tough if they want to. It's a while ago, but who remembers the steroid hearings, Mark McGwire, other prominent players dragged on a Capitol Hill? That was touchy for baseball, wasn't it? All right, and on Capitol Hill on Friday afternoon, we had that horrible attack. Capitol Hill police officer was killed, another wounded when a man by the name of Noah Green drove his car into them. What were his motivations? Well, we know that he was infatuated with Louis Farrakhan, the world-famous anti-Semite, also supports the destruction of America, and also chummy with Barack Obama over the years. Once they found out this angle, that Noah Green looked the way he did and had the sympathies that he did, they dropped the issue real quick. But all afternoon long, they were trying to tie this some way to those crazy Trump supporters.
That the risk going forward was going to be copycats of varying kinds, that one of the after effects of January 6th was that this was the kind of event that would put ideas in the heads of a lot of people.
Trump supporters, you see that? Trump supporters and those who went too far on January 6th, they're responsible for this potential Islamic terrorist. They're responsible, huh? Imagine that. You know, in the mainstream media, when they finally get embarrassed or when they realize something doesn't fit their narrative and they drop it, I think that's dangerous. It's dangerous in big ways and in small ways. Take Joe Biden. Remember a couple of weeks ago, maybe you don't, he took a terrible fall 3 times going up those steps. This is a big deal. I mean, this defined the presidency of Gerald Ford when he fell. They all ignored it. It was no big deal. Just look the other way. And when Joe got to Atlanta, he was so committed to making this story seem like it never happened. He ran down the steps. What happens when you ignore something? You're bound to repeat it. If Joe Biden fell when he was coming down those steps instead of going up those steps, he might have died. I'm serious. He needs to slow down. And also, there's an alternative way to get onto the jet, Air Force One. There's a little hatch. You don't have to go up 80 stairs. You have to go up like 8. Probably a safer deal. Think about it, Joe. All right, time for some Trump truth.
You are fake news.
And Trump was right when he raised serious questions nobody in the media would about Hunter Biden.
Whatever happened to Hunter? Where the hell is he?
Making money overseas, doing weird stuff all over the country. Well, now he has a book. It's called Beautiful Things. It's a memoir, and I haven't read it yet. He has had a bit of a colorful life, including, well, dating, having an affair with his dead brother's widow. I mean, that's tough stuff, right? Talked about it today on the CBS Morning Show.
One of the deepest wounds to his family, the affair he had with his brother's widow, Hallie, just after Beau's death.
A lot of people look at that and think, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
Both of us had gone through the most incredibly painful loss. And it was out of love, and I thought that maybe that love would bring my brother back.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't work.
In the middle of that, did you think about how your own kids would look at this?
Yeah, and it was hard.
Going out with his dead brother's wife was going to somehow bring his brother back. All right. But you can pick up here that it was a painful moment when the family found out, when the kids found out. It would be painful for any family. Again, dating the dead brother's wife, widow. Horrible stuff, right? We know that, you know that, I know that. Here's what Joe Biden said publicly when it became a story. We are all lucky that Hunter and Hallie found each other as they were putting their lives together again after such sadness. They have mine and Jill's full and complete support, and we are happy for them. He was lying then, he was lying then, and he's lying now. And it's really sad.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.